Alright, chat, we finna get it started up right now. So if you finna come join the live, watch this video with me, join up right here, man. We finna get it started up right now. So if you finna come join the live, watch this video with me, join up right here, man. Alright, chat, we finna get it started up right now. So if you finna come join the live, watch this video with me, join up right here, man. Cut the chicken dick. Alright, let's get it started up, chat.
Millions of dollars. There's no doubt in my mind that if you adapt and adopt these mindset shifts, that they will change your life for the better. I heard someone say a long time ago, if you want to model any form of human excellence, somebody's doing.
All right, so let me tell y'all about Myron Golden, if y'all don't know who he is already. Personally, I just learned a little bit about him myself, so I don't know too much. So y'all gonna find out more as I do more reaction videos to him. I ain't gonna lie, a lot of people like reaction videos wise didn't have my interest, but this I think he's gonna have my interest. He kind of teaches like biblical verses through business and entrepreneur ways, and he kind of give you like a mindset to really have. So I think it'd be good for y'all to watch these videos with me. We both learn something. We can learn together.
Doing something and you'd like to do it.
He said he made $41.5 million in the past 4 years.
And you model three things. One, you model their belief systems. Two, you model their mental syntax, the order in which they fire off messages in their brain. And number three, you model their physiology. And so
what physiology mean, Chad?
About belief systems that if you adapt and adopt them, they will make you millions. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not making millions of dollars, some of these are going to rub you the wrong way. Because if these things already made sense to you, you'd already be doing them, right? I mean, doesn't that stand a reason? Don't expect to learn something from someone that you agree with 100% of the time.
No, that's real. That's 100% real. That's 100% real. You can't learn nothing from somebody that you just think they're right 100% or they think you right 100%. You're not gonna learn from each other. You got to be able to tell somebody that they wrong, and you feel me, where they could work on or something.
If they're not challenged, if what they're saying is
that's
not
real.
Challenging you, how can you possibly hope for it to change you? So here are the 7 mindset shifts. The first one, is the biggest mind-blown transformation that that changed my life for the rest of my life. And I'm going to say it, and you're going to say, oh, no, not that again. Okay. But here's the problem. If that's what you're thinking, here's the problem. You know about it.
We got to go live on my TikTok too, chat.
Right? So the words I'm going to say, you've already heard them. You already know them. They're not new words. They're just new actions. They're words that you heard and recited, but you haven't yet done anything about them. So here it is. First, game changer, multi-million, billion, whatever dollar mindset is be, do, have. You're like, oh yeah, I got that already. Be, do, have. Yeah, okay. Sure you do. But I'm going to go over here on my trusty blackboard. When I discovered this in Genesis chapter 1, it knocked my socks off for months. I was just like, and when I think about it now, it still knocks my socks off. Because in Genesis chapter 1, God set up the whole thing. I'm getting chills thinking about this.
What's that word, Mark?
God set up the whole thing.
Appreciate you for tuning in, my guy.
The first thing God tells us about God is...
let me go back.
Because...
We're going to pause it right here real quick, chat. I got to start this live on my TikTok, too. Yo, what's that word, Hunter? I appreciate you for tuning in, my guy. We about to get right back into this video. I just gotta start this live real quick. All right, let's get back into it, chat. Let's get into it.
It knocked my socks off for months. I was just like, and when I think about it now, it still knocks my socks off.
Let's get into it.
Because in Genesis chapter 1, God set up the whole thing. I was thinking about this right now. God set up the whole thing. And the first thing God tells us about God is that he is creative. He doesn't tell us first that he's love. He doesn't tell us first that he's righteous or just or omnipotent or omniscient, even though he's all those things. The first thing God tells us about God is that he's creative. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And when God created the heavens and the earth in the beginning, he established the platform on which we operate. And that platform is in the beginning. That's time. I don't like that color. I don't even know what color it is, but I know I don't like it for that. So in the beginning, before the beginning, there was no time. In the beginning, God created the heavens. That's space. And the earth, that's matter. Now it's really interesting that I need to do some thinking about this, but it's really interesting that time, space, and matter are a continuum, and they all had to come into being at the same time. The only explanation for that is Genesis 1:1. Rashid bara Elohim et Hashemayim v'Haaretz. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That's the only. So they all came into being at the same time, because if there's time but no space, where would you put it? What would you do with that time? If there's space but no time, when would you put it? If there's matter but I said earth. If there's matter but no space, where would you put it? And so they all came into being at the same time. Now, what's fascinating about this is this platform is the platform that God set up from the beginning. These are our constraints as human beings. Time, space, and matter are constraints. Anything you're going to do is going to take time, right? Anything you're going to become is going to take time. Like time it's a constraint. Space. If you don't have enough time, you're not going to get it done. If you don't have enough space, you're not going to get it done. Like, we can't build the Empire State Building inside this building because there's not enough space, right?
All right.
And what's really
What do you mean by that, Chad?
mind-blowing about this again is that the first thing that God tells us about himself is that he's creative. The first thing God tells us about us is that he made us in his image. And he made us in his image, which means this is the first thing he tells us about us. He made us to make stuff, and he created us to create stuff. Which is why, if you're not making something, if you're not creating something, if you are not living in your creative space to make the world a better place, you feel unfulfilled. You feel like I'm wasting my life. I'm just existing because you're not creating anything.
Yeah, it makes sense. I can feel what he's saying, because I think everybody got a purpose on this earth that God designated them to. So I feel like if you're not down here doing at least something, you ain't really doing your purpose. Or at least trying. Or like, I ain't even gonna say trying. You should be doing something to try to make your purpose.
Right? And
Feel me?
So the first thing God tells about us is that he made us in his image. And then the first thing God said to man, go read Genesis chapter 1, verse 27 and 28. And it says, and God blessed them and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion. So he said, be fruitful. Now, the word fruitful, Genesis 1 tells us what a fruit is. A fruit is a living organism whose seed is in itself. So when God said, be fruitful, he's telling us to produce on the outside based on what he put on the inside of us. What did he put on the inside of us? I believe that God planted the seed of an aspect of his creativity inside of all of us. Now he didn't plant the same aspect inside of any of us. He planted a different aspect of the seed of his creativity inside of each of us, so that you can create something based on the creativity that God put in you that helps me, and I can create something based on the creativity God put inside of me to help you. It's so beautiful. So I need you. So now, not only is it a good idea for me to treat you good because you're made in the image of God, but it's a good idea for me to treat you good or for me to treat you well because it's in my own best interest. Because you're going to have something I need. So it just makes sense for me to treat you well and you to treat me well because I got something you need, you got something I need. So it just makes sense. Why would we go through life burning the bridges of the people who have the stuff that we need that we don't have and we can't get without them? So he said, be fruitful, produce on the outside based on what I put on the inside of you. And then he said, multiply. Well, the implied verb of multiply is a do. Multiply means to increase, by the way. So he said, be fruitful and increase. So multiply. And by the way, the increase of multiplication is not geometric. It's not linear. It's exponential. It's a geometric progression. What do Warren Wiersbe say? Any fool can count the number of seeds in an apple, but only God can count the number of apples in a seed. If you plant a seed, it doesn't grow an apple. If you plant an apple seed, it grows a tree. And the tree produces apples. And all those apples have multiple seeds, and everything is multiplying. Are y'all tracking? Okay, so be fruitful, do multiply. Multiply is what we do. Increase. Replenish the earth. Replenish is what we do. Replenish means to fill up the earth. So I'm supposed to use my creativity to make stuff, to be fruitful, and do things that make things that fill up the earth. Okay, and then he said, and subdue it. Why did he say subdue it? Because there's a principle that's woven into the fabric of physics. We call it entropy.
What's that word,
Like,
Hannah? How you
entropy,
doing?
anything left to itself tends to move more and more towards disorder, right? The first law of thermodynamics is what? Everything is energy. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just changes form, right? So you take the apple and you eat the apple, and you plant the seed, and the seed becomes a tree, and the tree becomes more apples, and the apples produce more, and nothing goes away. It just turns into something different. But the second law is the law of entropy. Anything left to itself tends to move more and more towards disorder. So in order for me to do, it requires intention and it requires energy. Are y'all tracking? I thought I was going to do 7. Okay, that's hilarious. Okay, so be fruitful, do multiply, do subdue. Well, because of the law of entropy, it's woven into the fabric of the universe that, and when I say it's woven into the fabric of the universe, God wove it into the fabric of the universe, because the universe is not God and God is not the universe. It's God wove it into the fabric of the universe that disruption always follows intention. So when you decide to do something good that you haven't been doing, the first thing that shows up is not something fun. The first thing that shows up is not a big payoff. The first thing that shows up is difficulty. Isn't it fascinating that you have to plant food, but you don't have to plant weeds? They just grow. I've never met a farmer who planted a weed, but they all have them. Never met a gardener who planted a weed, right? It's so mind blowing. Like if you're building a new house and you want to have a yard, you gotta go buy some sod, right? You go buy some sod and it's got like.
That's a good analogy. So meaning like you can plant good, and the bad is always gonna come first before that good finally get there. You feel me? So you gotta go through the trials, the difficulties, the obstacles to finally get to your destination. Like as he just said, if you plant some flowers, the weeds gonna probably grow before the flowers, and they're gonna just keep growing. Like you see the bad keep happening, but the good is finally gonna get there once them flowers fully bloom. You know, that was a
St.
good one.
Augustine grass, or it's got whatever kind of grass you have in your area, and you plant that, you put down that sod, and then you water it, and you take care of it, and next thing you know, now you got a yard. Next thing you know, dollar weeds start popping up. Where'd they come from? Disruption always follows intention. It's so fascinating that part of our energy we use to produce And another part of our energy we use to keep the entropy from seducing what we've produced. What in the world is happening here? Okay, so do, and then God says, have dominion. Have dominion. Now, here's the formula. Be, do, have. But this part of the formula, be, was created for the platform of time. So this is the platform. And these are the parameters. And the parameters are be, do, have. This parameter was made for this part of the platform. Anything you're going to become that you are not right now takes time. And see, so many people are in such a big hurry that I tried that already for 3 whole weeks and it didn't work. Right? Isn't that what people say stuff? Like, what are you talking about? I was having a conversation with one of my clients last night.
It's real. With that being said, be patient in what you're doing and believe in God that He'll make it happen into what you want it to become. Well, it's really gonna be what He wanted to come, but it's gonna happen. Just be patient.
And she asked me a very valid question. She said, Myron, like, in corporate America, we're taught not to talk about how much money we make, but in your business, you talk about how much money you make. Like, how do you keep employees? You asked that question before, Trudy. Right? That's a valid question. But see, here's what people don't realize. What people don't realize is the money that I make now is not from the work I do now. The money that I make now is from the work I did when the work was only working on me. The money that I make now is from the gestation period that lasted for decades. And for somebody to come into my space and believe that they deserve a big chunk of this pie just because they're here and they are helping and the work that they do is valid. That's not my point. Is not that the work they do is not valid. It's very.
That's a excellent definition right there. If somebody got a business and this person been working on their business for like 7 years, 10 years, and they've been doing this on their own, and in that 11th year, they finally blow, and now their business running good, and they got new customers. Or not new customers, but they get to hiring people, and it's like they can't get the same amount that I got. I've been working for this long, and they get the same amount. They shouldn't even care how much I get at that point. Like, people really got to understand that. I don't think a lot of people do understand that.
Very valid. But somebody who's been here for 5 years, they think, well, I deserve more money because look how much money you're making. But I'm not making this much money because you showed up. I was making this much money before you showed up. And so anything you're going to become is going to take time. And see, people want to rush the washing machine. People come and see something. Even those are clients. I've got clients. They come and see, I'm going to go do what Myron did. Really? Really? You're going to spend decades learning and decades trial and error. And in the beginning, more error than trial. And you're going to last through that learning curve to the point where something finally clicks that you can put on rinse and repeat. See, and most people, when they don't get the result, when I started in sales, I didn't make my first sale for 1.5 years, for 18 months. But I kept doing it. Why? Because I didn't have any place else to go. I didn't have alternatives. Sometimes our biggest problem is we have too many choices. Right? There's so much opportunity in the world today, you can do shiny object syndrome until the cows come home and never make anything work. Why? Because you think the problem is the opportunity. But the problem's not the opportunity, the problem's the opportunist. One more time. So be, do, have. God, I love this so much. Somebody said to me comment on one of my, brother, don't get distracted by the money and forget about Jesus. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. As if it's separate, it's somehow separate. What are we talking about? Don't forget about Jesus. Jesus is the reason I'm here. I'm not confused. But I'm not going to step on the brakes on my productivity because I don't want to not be focused on Jesus. What are you talking about, bro? You're pretending to be focused on Jesus, but you're working 13 hours a day and struggling to take care of your family. And you're acting like because I'm making more money, somehow that means I'm more focused on money. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm way less focused on money than most people. I'm more focused on time. Fascinating discovery. This is 1D. One of the biggest differences between poor people and rich people is poor people value money more than they value time, and rich people value time more than we value money. Poor people value money more than they value time. That's why they're cheap. No, they're not cheap. I'm not saying they're cheap. I'm saying they'll go to a restaurant. Church folk go to a restaurant on Sunday afternoon, sit there for 5 hours, and leave $1 tip and a trap. That's called an anti-witness.
Because getting home late gets you that look.
Alright, hold on real quick, chat.
Only possible when you feed a Hills scientifically proven formula. Because you're only human, there's Hills.
You're called to more. Begin your story at Grand Canyon University.
Now is the perfect time to upgrade your sleep at Michigan's #1 mattress store. From everyday comfort to luxury level rest. Plus, our sleep experts help you find the perfect fit from the biggest brands. Dream big and pay less at Gardner White Mattress, with luxury mattresses starting as low as $16.
Dang, chat. I'm trying to turn the ad off for you. It ain't working though.
Hot mess. But with Canva, I just trim out the chaos in the timeline. Voila. Try Canva Video today.
Okay, first we'll audit state government and use the savings to help eliminate the state income tax.
Okay. So we have to understand that your desire to have something nice, to have a nice experience of life, your desire to have like a nice car and a nice house and live in a nice neighborhood, take nice vacations, and have a nice sized bank account, that desire, God gave it to you. God's the one that gave you a desire for nicer, better, because the first command was be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, and have dominion. God commanded the man to be progressively productive in his life, his whole life. Your desire to make today look better than yesterday, and this week look better than last week, and this month look better than last month, and this year look better than last year, and this decade look better than last decade is God-given. And Satan wants you to believe that it's satanic. See, Satan, one of his tactics is to make you believe that your friends are your enemies and your enemies are your friends. Remember what he said to Eve in the garden? You shall not surely die, for God doth know that they eat thereof. Then your eyes will be open, and you should be as gods, knowing good and evil. What's he saying? He's saying God's just keeping something from you. God's just trying to keep you from being like him. So, you want to do something really good for your life? Stop attending Satan's Bible studies. What does that even mean? Stop attending Satan's Bible studies. If you make the mistake of thinking that everybody who talks about the Bible is representing God, you are delusional. The very first temptation in the history of the world, Satan used what God said to deceive. He twisted what God said to deceive Eve in the garden. He also twisted in the first temptation of Christ, he twisted what God said to attempt to deceive Jesus. But Jesus is the truth, and the truth cannot be deceived. Okay, so your desire to have is God-given. So God said, I'm going to give these people an intense desire to have. And then I'm going to tell them, I'm going to give them some principles and laws that these are the things you must do in order for you to have what you want to have. So having speaks to my property. I'm going to stop on this one for this part, for this mindset shift. Having speaks to my property. Doing speaks to my activity.
Hey, you got like a glove?
So,
Nah.
God knew that when I attempted to do something that I don't have an ability to do, I'd become frustrated. I'd feel challenged. I would feel insignificant and insufficient. But the reason he did that was not to frustrate us, but to get us to yield to the thing he cares about most. We care the most about this, and so we do a lot of this. God cares the most about this, and while we're ignoring this, we can't do this, and we'll never have that. God cares the most about us becoming. Being speaks to my identity. And when I yield equal to who God says I am, when I recognize that I am who God says I am, so it doesn't matter. So if I am so intimately familiar with who God says I am, then your misunderstanding of me is not my concern. People, like, it's so funny. So, I have been called a prosperity gospel preacher. Myron, are you a prosperity gospel preacher? I don't know. What do you mean by that? That would be my question. If you mean, do I believe in biblical prosperity? 100% I do. Because prosperity is a Bible word. In fact, I remember reading something that says something like, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of waters, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Now, whatsoever he doeth shall prosper sounds relatively all-inclusive. I don't know. Whatsoever he doeth shall prosper? That means when he does it, it works. Let me ask you a question. How many Bible-believing, Bible-thumping, church-going people do you know who are actually living that? Yeah, so if that's what you mean by prosperity gospel preacher, the word gospel means good news. And the good news about prosperity is you can be prosperous. Now, but if you mean, am I telling you to give me money and God's going to bless you? No, I don't do that. I don't have any blessings for sale.
That's real.
I'll tell you right now, if you give me some money, God might bless you, and then again, maybe he won't. I don't know. I don't know. Tell you what, you want to give me some money, you give me the money, and then you come back and tell me what happened after that. I don't know. I don't have any blessings for sale. I'm not going to make you a promise that God's going to do something for you because you gave me some money. I don't do that.
That's real.
I've been called a false prophet. That's interesting. It's an interesting accusation. But guess what? I don't have time to care. I have been called the Antichrist. Now, I know. I know Antichrist. What? Child, please. Okay. It's so fascinating how super religious people get their doctrine from loud sermons. Go read the Bible. Go study it. First of all, you might come across, if you read the whole Bible, you might come across a passage that says something like this: the servant of the Lord shall not strive. You might find that one in there. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Be ye kind one to another, tender heart. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in there that tells about our attitude. Anyway, okay. See, here's what I know. If I am made in the image of God, and God planted the seed of an aspect of his creativity inside of me, that means I know I can do anything he tells me to do. God tells.
And with that being said, like he said earlier, whatever you want to do, I feel like it's something that's for you. God gave you that desire. Meaning, you shouldn't be able to lose it if you keep going.
Me as a man that I'm supposed to love my family, I'm supposed to love my wife, I'm supposed to provide for my house, I'm supposed to leave an inheritance to my children's children. I can't say, well, leave an inheritance to your children's children and other impossible dreams. I can't say that. Ladies, God gives you a template for how to be like the most valuable woman ever in Proverbs chapter 31. You know what Christians do? They'll write books like the Proverbs 31 Woman and Other Impossible Dreams. So what you say about what God said is more valid than what God said about what God said. It's so fascinating. All we have to do is yield to being who God called us, created us, and then called us to be. That's all we got to do. Okay, if I will become more, I will have the ability to do more. And if I do more, I automatically deserve to have more. So that's the first mindset shift. Okay, we only got 6 more to go. The next one that shifted my existence was kind of based on the same passage, and it's this one. It's the 4 levels of value. The lowest level of value is implementation. Down here, you use your muscles over time to make money. Wealth is a spiritual a spiritual attribute. Wealth is spiritual. In fact, poverty is always the result of spiritual warfare. Always. There are no exceptions to that. Man lacked nothing until Satan attacked in the garden, and man believed Satan's word over God's word. Poverty is always the result of spiritual warfare. Okay? So, implementation is the lowest level of value. Wealth is not money. Wealth is my ability to create value for someone other than me. And if the only thing I have to use to create value for someone other than me is my muscles over time, the amount of wealth I'm going to create is going to be limited. Are y'all tracking? If you go to a hotel, I don't care if you're paying $2,300 a night for a hotel room. The people who make the least amount of money working at that hotel are the housekeeping staff. Nobody wants to stay in a dirty hotel room. Like, we ain't having it. Right? Find a piece of hair in the sink. You go down, my sink is dirty. Right? Without housekeeping staff, you can't have a hotel. And yet they get paid the least. Why? They don't get paid the least because of what they do is not valuable. What they do is immensely valuable, but it's on the lowest level of value. The level of value that they work on has a ceiling. Are y'all tracking? So the next lowest level of value is unification. On this level, we use management skills to make money. And if you're managing other people, that is a higher spiritual activity than doing the thing yourself. Oh, now I get it. So managers make more than the people they manage, even though the people they manage are doing more of the work itself than the manager. On the unification level, there's limitations. On the low end, you might make $80,000 a year. On the high end, or you might make $250,000 a year. But there's a ceiling. You can't create wealth doing this. You can create wealth while you're down here. You can create wealth if you're down here, if you do the right things with your money. But you won't be creating the wealth because of this or because of that. Are y'all tracking? Wealth begins to be created above this line. And this is where wealth begins to be created. Communication. Use your mouth to make money. 2 caveats. Number 1, you must have a mouth. Congratulations, all of you are in the catbird seat right now. Number 2, you have to learn how to use that mouth effectively to communicate messages that move the masses and have conversations that create cash flow.
No, that's real right
So,
there.
the highest level is imagination.
At AT&T, everyone deserves our best deal. Like the new Samsung
Another ad, chat.
Galaxy.
We're gonna pause this ad right here. I really feel what he's saying too, especially communication wise. You got to be able to communicate, network, talk to people. You feel me? Meet new people to be able to introduce you into new things. Or if you're trying to sell a product, you gotta have a good mouth to be able to sell that product. It kind of just go with everything. So I do feel what he's saying with that part. And then at the bottom, I don't know if y'all feel like this. I done been working in a warehouse for a while now, and when you really look at it, the bottom people do the most work and do get paid the least, and that is just how it goes. So it's you gotta try to, you feel me, keep building your way up.
S26 Ultra for $0 with Galaxy AI. New and existing customers can get the new Samsung Galaxy
Let me see how long.
S26 Ultra for $0
All right, chat.
with eligible
We
trade-in.
gonna in this video right here for today. We're gonna pick back up on it probably tomorrow. I don't want the video to get too long where I gotta edit it, and I want to be able to get it to y'all as quick as possible. So if y'all stayed, I appreciate y'all for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Yeah, catch y'all tomorrow. Let's leave out in a prayer real quick, chat. So let's do that. Lord, as we come to you today, we just want to continue and thank you for everything that you do. I just want to ask you to watch over all my viewers, watch over the people that see this video later on. I ask you to watch over my family and my friends. I ask you to give us the motivation that we need. I ask you to keep pushing us when we're down, Lord. And we just want to continue to thank you for everything that you do for us, Lord. I just ask you to be able to help me chase my purpose and just achieve the goals, Lord. And I just want to say thank you for everything that you do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, chat. Catch y'all later. I am going to be streaming some game content in a minute, so stay tuned.